Welcome to episode 6 of my OD&D actual play. The party has gone into the wilderness. They're in search of this rumored lost city in the jungles. Hopefully they find it, and they get some loot and level up. They lost a day because they had to go around a ravine, and they've avoided a 9-headed hydra. So they're 4 days into the field now. Let's see how they do. I'm Tristan. This is Heroes and Homebrew. Okay, so as you can see, they are camped out here, and I think they need to try and find a settlement or something. There's nothing on the map right now, but maybe if they're lucky, they can find even like a homestead or something, just to rest up. And then if they find a settlement that has, a couple of shops or something like that, when they leave the lost city, assuming they find it in the first place and they survive what's inside of it, then they won't have to trek all the way back to that town that they started at, which I think I'm going to call Rivertown. It's not a super original name, but it's a name. They're not going to have to go all the way back there just to get the XP for the gold they find. And they're 4 days in, so it means they have 2 days of travel that they can do, and then they have to take a full day of rest. So we're going to set off. They have 3 hexes of movement because they're out in the open. And we are going to roll to see if they find something. So on a 1, it's going to be they find a settlement. It's 3. So unfortunately, they didn't find anything. And then let's see if they find anything else, because they're looking specifically for a settlement. A 1. So in this first hex, they find something. Let's go to the manual of dexterity. We're going to roll a 1d8. 5 is a magical site. Ooh, this could be interesting. We're going to flip to our magical sites. We're going to roll a d20. So a 1 to 3, it's a minor site. 4 to 5 is a major, and 7 to 8 is a cursed. Oh, sorry, we need to roll d8 first. d8. Oh, it's got an 8, so it's cursed. We're going to roll a d20. That's a 6. Your armor becomes -1, a -1 cursed item. -1 cursed armor. Okay, so we're going to roll a d8. Let's put these guys out here. Now, the 2 elves. The 2 elves are operating as magic users right now. So at the beginning of each adventure, they can choose whether or not they want to be a fighter or a magic user. But seeing as how the party doesn't have magic users, these 2 elves are going to be magic users for this adventure or this expedition. So I think they're not going to have any armor on them, so they're going to be discounted. So that leaves us with 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll roll a d6. And we're going to see who gets affected by this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On a 6, I'm just going to reroll. 1. All right, so it's going to be Stuanoy the Big Stick. Whereas his armor is now -1. His chainmail -1. So what that's going to do is that is going to bring his AC down to 3. Up to 5. Because I'm using chainmail rules. So the higher the number, the worse it is. So his armor class is up to 5 now. Which, let's take a look at this. That means that actually doesn't change much for him. So that's not so bad. That was the first hex for that day. Next day, we're going to roll again to see if they find anything. So I roll a d6 on every hex to see if they find any locations or anything like that. So 4. They found nothing. And the last hex of the day, 3. They find nothing. I actually forgot to see if they got lost. Let's move these guys back here because that might erase everything. On a 1, they get lost. 3. Okay, they're fine. So that is the end of that day. They're in the open, so on a 6, there's a random encounter. So 5. They're good. They're out in the open. They had a good day of travel. So on Sunday, the 8th of January, they found a magical site. And we're going to do some upkeep on here. The rations go down 1. Days of travel. All right. Let's keep going. So next day of travel, we're going to roll to see if they get lost. They are not lost. Let's move this 1 hex. All right. Do they find anything? Actually, they're going to continue looking for a settlement. So on a 1, they find a settlement. They do not. Do they find anything else? They do not. Next hex. Nothing of interest. That was a 2. And the last hex of the day. 1. They find something in this hex. All right, let's see what it is. Again, manual of dexterity. We're going to roll a d8. It's a 3, so it's a landmark. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to roll a d20. It's an 8, so we've got tar pit or mud pit. Oof. Let's see what its traits are. 18. Ambush. Skip 1 to 6 uninhabited. All right, so they got ambushed at this tar pit. So maybe they arrived at this tar pit and figure out a way around, or it's like canalizing them into a specific area. So 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to roll a d4 on a 1 to 3. It's a small group, and on a 4, it is a large group. There's a 1. It's a small group. Okay. Next, we're going to roll a d8. There we go. d8. 6. Monstrosity, eh? All right, so let's go to... I'm going to go to white box for this. I'm going to go to my white box book. Take those notes out. The reason I'm going to white box is the random tables for the encounters are, I find a little bit better, a little easier to understand. I just have to find them. Open. I'm going to roll on monster. All right, D10. Kind of makes more sense that humanoids would ambush, but I guess, there's animals out there that know how to ambush and stuff. 7. Blink dog. Blink dog. Let's see. I don't know if blink dogs are in the OD&D. I don't think they are. They are not. So I'm going to go in here. Blink dog. Going back to the white box book. Hit dice 6. Oof. Alright, so pack hunter is intelligent, usually friendly to those who are not of evil intent. Okay, so it's not so bad because our guys are all lawful or neutral. They have no evil intent. So let's do Alright, first, let's see if our party's surprised. They are not. Are the blink dogs surprised? Presumably not, because they are. It's an ambush, right? Okay, reaction roll. 9. Positive. Okay, perfect. So they come across these blink dogs, and maybe they they're trepidatious. The party kind of shows that they have no ill intent, and maybe the party. I'm going to say the party gives some rations, maybe some food. Not enough to affect their daily rations, but enough that the blink dogs accept them, let them move on. Blink dogs don't have. Let's see if it's a layer. I'm going to say it's. I would say 25% chance of layer. They don't have. Yeah, it doesn't have a chance of layer, so I'm going to say 25% chance of that it's their layer. Not that I think the party's going to do anything about that. They're certainly not going to try and kill the blink dogs, because the blink dogs are far outpower them. That's 30, it's 40. So that's good. They managed to get away with that. So we're going to do our upkeep. Maybe the blink dogs could come into play later on their way back. We'll see. And mark off on here. 1 day rations, 1 day travel. So they've traveled for 6 days now. They have to take a full day of rest, which means that we are going to roll for an encounter. Five, they're out in the open. That's a nothing burger. So they're on their day of rest now. I'll write this down, day of rest. All right, so they've gone through a week's worth of rations. They're starting to get low. They're going to be getting into the jungle soon, and they have hilly terrain and mountainous terrain to get into. And they're going to have to decide what the best way to get into the jungle is. I think they can go up this way. That would be a day's worth of travel. And that would 2 days they would get into the jungle, or they go this way and get into the jungle, but then they have a lot further to travel in the jungle. We'll see. I think that's going to be an adventure for the next episode. So, not much happened, but they found a magical site that cursed one of their armors. They found some blink dogs that allowed them to pass, luckily, because blink dogs are 6 HD, and our party is certainly not in any position to be able to take on that kind of a threat. They are all level 1. Even this expedition probably is not the wisest thing for them to do at level 1, but they are ambitious and they want to make some money. Good, so I hope you enjoyed that quick session. We're going to rejoin the party next time, and we'll probably get into the jungle. That's it for me. So we see from me at your table.